Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me in a word of prayer at this time. Our great and gracious God, as we come together at this time, we pay honor and respect to a great leader and friend to many, Senior Master Sergeant, Rachel Bush, who, as a young airman, and then as an NCO, and then again as a senior NCO, helped inspire others to live their best lives. Someone who helped them over the years overcome difficulties and challenges. God, we are grateful for such friends and leaders in our lives. We're grateful for the senior leaders that helped inspire her as she came up through her ranks and the many that she has since inspired, and for the legacy that she now leaves in the Air Force as she moves on to the next great chapters of her life. God, we're grateful for the families and the friends, not only of Senior Bush, but each of us who help us and inspire us. And we ask that as we face the challenges and the days of darkness in our lives, that we'll be able to look forward with faith and be able to overcome these challenges with that faith that we have. God, we ask that you will open doors and that you will pour out peace and joy upon Senior Bush as she retires, as she opens up into these next chapters that you have prepared for her. God, please continue to bless her family, her friends, the airmen that she leaves behind, that they will be able to remember the many lessons that they have gone through together. We ask for your strength again, for your grace and your love upon us always, and upon those who are in harm's way to be returned to us safely. I so pray in the name of the one who upholds us in all things, even Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Prudy Brothers and Chaplain Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Anybody else want to get up here and sing that German national anthem? Although we may not be able to capture every single accomplishment Senior Bush has done, please turn your attention to a slideshow that captures the most important pieces and highlights of her 22-year career. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Melissa John.
Well, I should have just narrated the video because my remarks are going to seem Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Colonel Finnan and Adrian, Shelley, obviously John, the rest of the Dubs, family and friends that are dialed in online, all the things here on stage, everyone that's here. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate Rachel. What a career! 22 years. Wow. I don't want to go any further without thanking the support team. Events like this don't just happen. So to Gio and Dan in the back, Rob's taking pictures. We've got Aaron Rezek over here as a propper. I know Aaron Yang helped as well. DC's back there running all the comms and stuff there at also Mark. Thank you so much. Round of applause for the team. Rachel made me promise that it was No Tears Friday, and I'm not sure that I can deliver on that. But one of the ways that I know that will help me is if I run 2 minutes. Okay, let me walk you through some achievements that might match along with some of these photos to just bring us into a total picture of what it was like in 2000 and going from 2000 to 2022. Let's review your Air Force story, Rach. Entering active duty in December 2000 in a pre-9/11 era. So think back to that. You chose to raise your right hand, defend our nation, and join the Air Force. What a commitment to make at that time, and then within a year, have everything changed. Raise your hand if you were born after 2000. All right, some of our youngins are out playing. Okay, good. All right. After basic, Airman Bush spent a few years at Maxwell Cutter Team as a public affairs journeyman, and I was encouraged to find out you were the editor of Leader magazine. So even before being a leader yourself, you were editing things about leadership, which is exciting. Then Staff Sergeant Bush cross-trained into flight attendant, and that's where the world travels began, and so many pictures and great times and amazing experiences there. Starting off with the 1st Airlift Squadron at Andrews, crushing DV airlift, accelerating through many roles in leadership of the flight attendant field, earning a DG from NCOA. I saw that, that's awesome. And culminating to work on Air Force 2 for then Vice President Biden. What an amazing job, and honestly, plenty of photos there to back that up. Like, what a cool experience. And when we were talking earlier, Rachel expressed that was one of the roles she's been very proud of. Am I yelling?
No, they can't hear you on here.
They can't hear me. Okay, I'm not going to start over, but thank you, everyone who's dialed in. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we're caught up to then Staff Sergeant Bush, having cross-trained as a flight attendant, working at the 1st at Andrews, and sort of getting her feet wet in DV airlift, and that didn't take very long until all of a sudden she's on Air Force 2, flying around Vice President. Pretty cool stuff. So then Tech Sergeant Bush moved to Hickam to support the 65th Airlift Squadron, fly the C-40, and then continue to crush it. Leading airmen, mentoring airmen, managing programs, working on certifications like her yoga cert and some other awesome physical fitness stuff. You saw PT has been a passion for her, as well as performing. So PT, performance, and professionalism. I don't know, something amazing like that. You're 3 Ps. So crushing it out in Hickam as well, and promoted to Master Sergeant. Something that we didn't see, I don't know, some of those photos are probably from this experience, but she was the PACAF selection to attend senior NCO PME on the international exchange to New Zealand. So she spent some time in New Zealand, and that was another highlight you shared with me. So that sounds like it was an amazing opportunity. But it didn't stop there. She came back to pay it forward. She mentored up and down and across the entire community, rose to the level of the 1 Alpha 6 expert in the entire field for career enlisted aviators and 1 Alpha 6s. And the following year, she earned the half-level Dutch Kaiser Award, which is huge. So, you weren't done yet. Senior Master Sergeant Select Bush decided to return to Andrews triumphantly and establish in-flight ops for 3 MATCHCOMs. So now, literally, Rachel has served in every place where we have DV airlift for executive airlift, which is so impressive. She also developed the first ever flight attendant training certification program, leading as the ops superintendent, and then created the Executive Airlift Training Center and was the superintendent responsible for all the professional development of the flight attendants and inspiring hundreds of enlisted aviators. If she wasn't fulfilled enough doing that, she was also the 89th OSS SEL. Busy times. Not exactly. Course correct. She filled many hats. Big deal. 10% truth. It's fine. It's 89th, we love you. Okay. And I know we know you love Rachel, which is why we're here. So, okay. So then we had the privilege to welcome her to lead the Doves, as you know. More on that later. But throughout her career, I wanted to highlight she's deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom, and then locally here with all of us deployed for Operation Allies Refuge, essentially. And she's earned 2 air medals, 6 aerial achievement medals, 4 commendation medals, and 3 meritorious service medals, which is impressive. If anyone knows how to do executive airlift and lead CEAs, it's Rachel, literally having served in every EADV unit in the world. So, as I went through some of the documents that are in her record and looking at the names of the people writing on her throughout the years, there's a lot of familiar names. But I wanted to highlight a couple of comments about you from some people, anonymously. Rachel's an unwavering shining star. Performance. Absolutely committed. Rachel climbs and never plateaus. Dynamic energy, bringing solid leadership to the cadre. Second to none. Vice President lauded miracle worker. I really want to know the story behind that. Always gives 100%. Dynamic leader with significant and lasting fleet-wide impact. Exceptional mentor and leader. And those are just things that are written on pieces of paper. And if you know her, it jumps way off the page beyond that. So that's saying a lot. I'm not gonna cry. Okay. I, like many of the Doves, met you in November of 20 as you arrived here at Ramstein. Maybe a little bit kicking and screaming, but we were happy to have you. Assuming the SEL role, you taught me the ropes. I learned a lot, especially about enlisted force development, and you've been an amazing mentor for me. So professionally, you led the Doves. You helped me make bold decisions. You helped our senior NCOs rise to new levels, and everyone else around you. So I'm really appreciating all of your leadership throughout the year and a half, but especially in the role as the SEL, you really advanced and brought bold leadership to the forefront. We've been through a lot together. Here's a couple of highlights. COVID ops, it's like a 2-word thing. I don't even know how to talk about that. CEA force management demanding changes, you know all about that. Ops challenges with our users and our fleet, Operation Allies Refuge, leading the Doves through a flip into deployed 24/7 ops, pod shifts, schedules, mental health check-ins, resiliency days, Ukrainian crisis ops support, and also preparing yourself for a huge transition into retirement and into your real life. That's just in a year and a half. Well done. You and I have a shared passion for authentic leadership, showing up as you are, coaching people. It's been said already, living your best life and showing up and being who you are. And that is not only in the photos, but in the faces in this room and a lot of people online that I've never even met. The lives that you've touched and the impact that you have goes well beyond. So I've always appreciated that, and I know I'm not the only one to say that. That's the last page, I promise. I think I'm just gonna have to read this part. Personally, I'm not sure what words to use to express my gratitude for your support to my family while we've been on this leadership team together. Callan knows you and loves you. He connects a visit to the squadron with, "Get to see Miss Rachel!" And his face lights up. You'll see it at the beer garden. Last year, as I became more and more pregnant and less mobile, you were the first to remind me to sit down and slow down, but you never left me behind, including joining me on the dance floor per dance requirement at our holiday party at the end, only 2 days before Chloe was born. So never leaving me behind. Rachel, you're part of my family, and I'm so thankful for that. I don't know if other commanders and SELs have this incredibly lucky privilege to be friends with the people that you serve with. But to connect the way that we have is rare, and I know it's made an impact on the squadron, and I'm so thankful. What a journey. Okay, what a journey. Continuing to serve a full career is a big deal in 22 years, and you've done it. Congratulations. Thank you for being an inspiration to all of us. You've all made us better. And I'll leave you with a quote. John Maxwell said it best. If you invest in people, they will never be the same again, and neither will you. It's impossible to help others without helping yourself. Rachel is off to a whole new chapter. SkillBridge, amazing fitness stuff, an apartment in Marina del Rey on the beach, which is gorgeous. Finally getting to live with Lee, which is exciting. Moving to LA, hopefully working on corporate airlift at some point, getting hired with some other fancy stuff, hopefully. And an on-paper retirement, 31 October 2022. Everything happens for a reason, and today, our reason for being in this room today is to celebrate you. Team John Brock, wish you all the best. Thanks for allowing us to be part of your Air Force journey and for paying it forward. I think we're all better for it. We're sad to see you go, but we know that we'll never be the same, so it's all good. Congratulations, and Mark, let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the medal presentation. Senior Master Sergeant Rachel R. Bush distinguished herself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Squadron Senior Enlisted Leader, 76th Airlift Squadron, 86th Operation Group, 86th Airlift Wing, Ramstein, Germany. During this period, Senior Bush expertly led 79 airmen through a blistering operations tempo in the Air Force's most dynamic executive airlift and operational support squadron, delivering 23 distinguished visitors and 1,200 passengers to worldwide destinations of critical national interest. Additionally, she orchestrated the unit's response to Operation Allies Refuge, where she rapidly transitioned the squadron from flight operations to render 1,500 hours of ground support, transforming Ramstein into European Command's central evacuation hub. As a result, her team's contributions proved pivotal to well-being, safety, and transport of 35,000 Afghan travelers to the United States. Furthermore, as a functional manager for 3 enlisted aircrew specialties, Sergeant Bush created a manual document that was essential to forecasting a 50% turnover, ensuring zero degradation of the unit's flying mission. Finally, as evidence of her tireless leadership and advocacy, her airmen garnered 24 Group, Wing, and MAJCOM command level awards, earning her the recognition of Catherine Wright Award nominee. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Senior Bush culminate a distinguished career in her service of the country and reflect great credit upon herself in the United States Air Force. Please remain standing for the retirement portion of today's ceremony. Special order number AC 003064, effective 31 October 2022, certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America to all who succeeds presents green. This is certified that Senior Rachel R. Bush, having served faithfully and honorably, will retire from the United States Air Force on the first day of November 2022. Signed, General Charles Q. Brown, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel John Brock will now present the Presidential Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America this year. Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Senior Rachel R. Bush, I extend my personal gratitude and sincere appreciation of the grateful nation for your patriotic service to our country. Your bravery and dedication in our armed forces helped protect your fellow Americans during a critical moment in our history and contributed to a world of greater security and growing prosperity. Your devotion to duty, honor, and country, in keeping with the long traditions of the finest military in the world, embodied the American ideals of selfless service. Our nation owes you an incredible debt. Your commitment and the example will set and inspire future generations to serve with pride and keeping our country secure. You represent the best of our nation, and I join our fellow Americans in saluting your honorable service. I wish you happiness and success in your next chapter. Signed, President Joseph R. Biden Jr., Commander-in-Chief. It is a tradition that every retiree receives a special retirement pen as a memento of their active duty service. Senior Bush has requested Master Sergeant John L. Coleman to present this pen. Sergeant Coleman, please come forward. Thank you, Master Sergeant Coleman. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Bush would now like to acknowledge her family. While they are unable to attend today's ceremony in person, their contributions have been vital to the success of her career. As an Air Force family, we recognize and appreciate that next to every successful airman or military member stands a supportive family who has endured much sacrifice. A certificate of appreciation from the United States Air Force was previously presented to Senior Bush's family at their home in Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, in lieu of a shadow box or other mementos, Senior Bush's final memento of her service will be a custom military keepsake box that will proudly house the artifacts of her incredibly charmed career. At this time, the Ramstein Base Honor Guard will now present Senior Bush with her retirement flag. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white and blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor on the flag we proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans have been spared the responsibility of defending our freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to the preserving of freedom that others have won and generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving the distinctive pole, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom, home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. The flag we so proudly are served and honorably defend may you accept it, protect it, and guard it. And ever remember that young men and women you have trained, guided, and inspired will follow in your footsteps and defend it with equal pride. On this occasion, we bid farewell to a true patriot, a fine citizen, Senior Master Sergeant Bush. Good luck, blue skies, and Godspeed. It's that time for to start speaking. Hold on. A true leader has confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to others. Senior Bush did not set out to be a leader, but became one by the quality of her actions and the integrity of her intent. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States of the Air Force is